Ladies and gents, hope y'all are doing well. It is Sunday, still, or at least at the time of recording, still stuck here in Cape Town. It's been like 5, 6 months. I think coming up on 6 months since I've been back in London. But anyways, can't complain. Just finished a good book, quiet Sunday, doing some work, reflecting. But point of this video is for another incredible student interview. So Blaze actually billed one of his clients. I think early on in the video I said 35,000, but I think the exact number was like 38,000 something for his percentage of basically his performance fee. And yeah, it's not every day. I think the record that we had was 30,000 euros, which comes out to like $33,000 or something, was the most that an agency incubator student has billed their client. I like to lead the pack and lead the way and really be a shining example for my students, but I've got to hold my hands up and say that I've never even gone past 20,000. I've gone in the mid, like 15, 16, no, most was like $18,000 that I've ever billed between base and performance for a client. Like I haven't even gone into 20s, let alone the 30s, like Antti, who was the guy who charged $33,000, and Blaze, who just charged the client $38,000 for his billables for that month. So yeah, it's always a super dope moment where like I'm inspired by my students, by like the action they're taking and the results they're getting for their clients, and in turn, the performance kickback that they take for themselves. So look, I'm rambling at this point, so I'm just gonna roll straight into the interview. Hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a comment down below what you guys would like to see next in terms of videos for this extended channel, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the student interview. We are here with Blaze, and yeah, I'm super amped to get into this one because, quite frankly, I think you run your agency in a very different way from most people, and it's not every day that you bill one client, well over $35,000 in billables for a month. That's I don't know. We need a step above the whale for that one, for that territory. I think you have broken.
It's a dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur. Yeah. Prehistoric times. I think you've broken the record. I think the previous record was $34,000 in a single month from Antti. So yeah, I think you've broken the record. So yeah, congrats.
38,900 to be exact. So
you've broken the Anyways, we are getting a little ahead of ourselves. You want to tell me a little bit about yourself, your agency, how you got into this whole thing?
Yeah, definitely. I think story tells a lot about how people get into something and how they decide to do a different route. I think there is a story behind everything. So my story really goes back. Like the beginning was in 2017. I was in the Netherlands studying strategic entrepreneurship and whatever that was. I still have no idea. I couldn't figure out how is that beneficial for me. But to be frank, I studied marketing. I studied commerce and marketing, zero online marketing, like zero knowledge in online marketing. And then I went to that course, education in the Netherlands. It was really hard to get in. It's like a golden award economic class. Everyone was like super, focused on the curriculum and being the best. And I was just there, and like I was like a good student. I was always a good student. I was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, like after we learn all this, what's gonna happen? Like, what is the implication? Why is it important for us? Like, and I always was I always was the guy asking the questions, and then all the teacher was like, yeah, dude, just learn the freaking lesson and just move on. And I'm like, but why? So
that's very sorry to interrupt you, but that's one of the biggest attributes I've seen of successful people. It's like, from the beginning, it's like, it's not enough for you to tell me to do something. I want to know why should I do it, and why should I do it a certain way. So yeah, people hate people like you and me, where we can't just take a simple, like you and I can't accept simple truths because we know it. Nothing is that simple, or if it is, there has to be a reason behind it, and you can't just tell someone to do something just because. That's not a good enough reason. So exactly. I love the fact that you're a little mischievous.
So I remember I was sitting there, and my brother told me to, hey, just hit me up on Instagram. He's like, hey, buddy, have you seen this guy? It's very great. And the guy was Gary Vaynerchuk. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I started to watch the videos of Gary Vaynerchuk, listening to podcasts, even while I was training in the gym, just like keep feeding my mind. And that's where the magic happened. That's when I realized that I'm probably going the wrong way, wanting to become a consultant at BCG, McKinsey, Baines, take up the suit, and just live the fancy lifestyle that's really predicted for those people. And I decided to take a different route. I told mom and dad I quit school. They just started to freak out, especially because dad is a teacher. He's a principal of a high school. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm paying your fee and everything, to go to the scum, like whatever. I just want to figure this one out. And I called my good friend and told, hey, you want to come to Netherlands, figure out what sort of business you want to do. Had a list of like 40 items, like, these are the things I want to do. Started to cross them out one by one. Had a good teacher who was teaching entrepreneurship for us. And I called him. I'm like, hey, do you have like, the dude was making around like, like 10 million a year or something like that in like profit with his business. I'm like, hey, do you have like half an hour? He was like, who are you? I'm like, I was, and he realized who am I? Like, yeah, cool. Like just scheduling for like 2 weeks ahead. I'm like, whoa, he's super busy. And I jumped on the call, like, blasted all my crazy ideas on him. And he was like, yeah, dude, no. And I was like, what is it going to be? And I crossed out every single item. I was like, okay, but I know marketing. How about I start an online marketing agency? He was like, okay, that's simple. That's something you can start with, because I had like crazy ideas, like building an AI business for optimizing fitness, nutrition, training, all that. He's like, dude, it's not gonna work out. So I was like, okay, cool. Like let's take the simple way. Online marketing agency. It's gonna be fun. I started it. I had zero idea. I was not YouTube savvy, so I didn't really know where to look for information. So I was like, I don't even need information. I'm just gonna figure out. So I thought it's gonna be, and it's just insane. If I go back in time and think about what I thought it's gonna be, I was thinking, I'm just gonna do whatever it takes. So if they need a landing page, I'm gonna learn how to build a landing page. If they want Facebook ads, I'm gonna learn it. YouTube ads, sure. SEO, sure. Everything. And so I went after people trying to sell my service for like 100, 200, maybe $300. I'm talking about the Hungarian niche. The Hungarian country. Hungary, where the average salary is on like $700. So that's like really a different game. But still, that was like super shitty money for learning everything, right? But I was just humble. I keep hitting up these people, keep getting those. It's like too expensive. I'm like, how can whatever, right? And so I ended up giving up. I gave up on this because I realized that I invested so much time. I was not making money. I was feeling terrible. I was working every Saturday, Sunday, not partying, following all the Gary V, all the Gary V advices, what not to do and what to do and the mindset you have. And I felt like I have a really strong willpower. I learned it from sports. I have a background in sports from the age of like 6. So I was just going all in, like heads down, and like whatever I felt, I'm like, this is just not real. I'm just gonna need to push through. And I realized it's gonna be a long push through. Like I might break in the process. So I stopped and I thought to myself, like, it is not gonna work this way. So let's do something else. So I started to look into something else. I wanted to build a business around like my personality, like personal brand, fitness, all that. So I started posting content, putting out content, putting out myself, and people were getting back to that. People were resonating with it. I was keep getting messages, but I was like, I built like 4,000 people in like half a year for like shitloads of time. I'm like, this is not gonna work. Like this is gonna be a shitloads of time. Like this is probably not the right time to start this, or maybe I'm missing something. Actually, there was a lot of things I was missing. So I was like, okay, let's do something else. Then I started a marketing automation business, which turned out to be okay-ish. I was making around like $1,000 per month with that business. But then that was just not sustainable. And I was not passionate about it. It was just like, yeah, it just bolts. Like it was not cool at all. So then I started an e-commerce brand, a fitness e-commerce brand, an apparel brand for natural bodybuilders. Then I realized that it's a super competitive niche. Like I tried to run basic Facebook ads. I'm like, this is how it's gonna be. I just run Facebook ads and boom, And then I started to talk with people and I realized, okay, e-commerce is freaking competitive. Fitness is one of the most competitive niche of e-commerce, and apparel, when you're competing with Gymshark, Vanquish, all the others, no way. I need a massive team. So what can I do? I gave up on that one as well, because that was, I just need to understand I cannot really like push through. It's not gonna work. So I need to find something. At that time I was in London, living at my business mentor's place. He's called David, and literally I had like 200 pounds on my name. And I was even thinking like, okay, I really need to save the money if I want to fly back to Hungary. And like he was kind of feeding me. I was training him, so I was his at-home personal trainer. And he was teaching me because he was in business for 10 years at that time. And that was the time when I encountered your YouTube video. I still remember the day, super tiring, long day, messing around with my e-commerce brand. And at like all the others went to party. It was a Saturday. There was like, Blake, come on, you need to go out. You need to enjoy yourself. Life is it's gonna end. So it's not all about working. I'm like, no. I really need to get this one sorted out. So I stayed home and I couldn't sort it out. And I was upset and I felt all the misery. And then I was about to go to bed and I was just like, okay, let's just watch a YouTube video. Why? Because I needed dopamine. I felt like so terrible. I started to watch a YouTube video, and that was you with a video. So I'm like, hey, my name is Iman Gadzhi and just made $200,000 in a single month at the age of 18, high school dropout, everything. And to be honest, dude, I was just like sitting there and I'm like, fuck this bullshit. Like, come on, like, what is this? Like, why people do this to me? Like, they want to scam people. That's how I felt. Like, another freaking scammer, right? Like, another freaking scammer. Wanna take my 200 pounds on my name, and I'm like, and I even thought like, fuck this. But I was like, how could this be? So I clicked on it, and that's when everything changed, because I watched the video and I was still upset, but I was like, if this guy can do that, why? Like, is he like? It must be something super genius or something like that. He must be just so much. I don't know. Like, what's the secret? So I started to watch your videos, started to watch your videos, trying to figure out the secret. And then I really figured out that the secret is to learn from people who has done it before. Like, I guess that's your secret as well, right? At the right time, you started to hire people who walk the path, and you started to learn from them. And it's simple as that. Just be humble and start learning from the people. That's when I decided, and just gotta be very honest with you. Hungarian people would never buy something that they don't need. They always try to do something not to buy. Like, they just want to go around. So what I did, I was just like, I couldn't afford your program because I had 200 pounds and yours was like 700 or 800. So I was like, is there any way I can find someone who can give me the login? So I started to like find someone who can give me. I've wasted so much time. I wasted 2 days to find your program. I find your program on a website. I paid like $30 for a random guy on PayPal to give me the video course, even though I know that the Facebook course is the value, but I just wanted to watch the videos to understand what's going on. So I paid the $30, I downloaded your program, and I started watching your program. I stopped everything I was doing. I stopped I stopped everything, and I was watching your program. I binged watched it in like 3 days or something like that.
Is this the old one, Six-Figure SMMA?
Yeah. And I taken notes. I just taken notes. And dude, you literally with that program, you just shifted my mind. I was just sitting there. I was like, this makes so much sense. But everything was like, fuck. And I was just hitting my head to the wall. Like, how could I be thinking this instead of that? And so that's when I thought that, okay, 2-3 months from now, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And that's how I felt ever since then. And remember, that was at the end of 2018. I felt that it's gonna be like this with that knowledge. Turns out it's not that easy. You still need to put in a lot of work. You still need to do major fuck ups and face major things in order to understand how you can grow a business. There's no shortcut for that, obviously. No matter how who you hire, this isn't gonna happen. So then I started watching your videos, started implementing the knowledge. I got my first client in 2019 April. So like 3 to 4 months in, I managed to close a gym in Hungary for $1,000, which was actually a lot of money because most gym owners run paid traffic for like $200. They spend $100 to $200 on paid traffic if they do anything at all in Hungary. So this dude was like, he just sat down with me and he was like, dude, you are so freaking passionate. I was like, I wanted to figure out what's this. So he just gave me a chance, and we started running his ads. I was almost working for him full time. We did consulting, run the ads, and did everything for the guy. And after 2 months, he called me and said, "Hey, Blaze, can you stop the campaigns because we cannot deal with the leads." I was like, "There are like way too much leads. There's no like, well, I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Don't freak out. I gotta go there and train your team how to deal with them." So I was just like, keep pushing them. So it's ended up a big success story. They got a lot of leads, and I just boosted my confidence. So I went out for more people. Closed an e-commerce client for like $2,000 US. That was like after like 2 to 3 months after this, and then got an Olympic racing horse called Chaco Blue. The owner just wanted to build a brand of Chaco Blue because it had a net worth of around like $6-7 million. So it was like, yeah, we can get Facebook likes for sure, and then once you figure out how to monetize, we can just help you with that. Start to work with them. There was a transportation company. But the problem I was facing, and I guess the reason I'm telling this story because I want people to understand this is really the niche of phase they usually are in when they don't really know what they want to do. They just take on everything they can. They know they can solve their problem. And where I ended up being is that I had no process or whatsoever, anything on how to communicate with them. I never really had a proper team at that time because I was like, how can I build a team around like something I don't know what it is? If you don't know what it is, you cannot build proper team around it. And it was not consistent. Like I never knew where the next money would come from. There were like good month, bad month. And fast forward to 2019 November when I felt like I don't want to work with Hungarian because it was all Hungarian people. And I figured that I don't want to work with Hungarian people. And the reason I tell this story is that you probably don't know because you've grown in, but you probably know because you talk to people. But you started your agency in UK, right? And you were working with UK and US clients. And I see a lot of people from the community, maybe from, I don't know, Croatia, Slovakia, Romania, wherever it is. Point is, it's just so much harder to start there. So if you have a good enough English, don't try to launch just don't try to deal with that problem. It's just something you cannot really solve as a young business owner who just starting his business. So you would be better to just go for the US UK clients, period. And that's something I realized. And then after once you have some passion, you have anything you are passionate about, that's the one that you have to triple down. Like it doesn't matter where the money would come from. You would figure out where the money would come from once you can resonate with the people. And so that's when I realized, talking to a lot of people, that it should be about fitness. First, I thought it's going to be, fitness lead generation for gyms. But I figured it's like fitness is what I'm passionate about, but I'm not passionate about gym owners. Like they're just older and have a different mindset, and I just couldn't really help them. I couldn't really resonate with them. So that's when I realized I should help fitness influencers, period. Like that's my niche. So I started conveying the niche research. Like I started to learn all about them. And that's when I encountered Adam. And there was a lot of back and forth, but we finally signed the papers with him, partnered with another agency, started to work with him, and boom, we made around like $140,000 profit on the ads in the first 30 days of running the ads. And I think my knowledge on how to run the ads and my passion was the same 9 months before. I haven't learned so much more ever since. It was just that all the knowledge and everything I learned finally paid off in this one campaign, because I was not giving up in the trenches of like when I couldn't find the right match. Because it's not just about like getting clients, signing contract, and just somehow making them some money and then being okay with that. I think it's all about finding your niche and finding their main problem and just go all in to solve that problem. Once that happens, everything is gonna change. And this is really my story. And this is a nutshell version, but this is really it.
No, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. This is the least amount of talking I've had to do on my side for a student interview. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm loving this.
I tried my best, but this is really the whole story.
No, I mean, so that's perfect. And yeah, so I mean, what's your performance fee? Is it 30%, 35%?
25.
25%.
Yeah, we charge $12,000 US. 12,000 for 90 days as a setup fee, and then 25% commission for half a year. But I guess they're not gonna they already gave us more clients, so it's not gonna be like, hey, goodbye. It's gonna be like a long-term partnership. They actually like became buddies, planning about how we go Bali, have some time together. So yeah, I think it's a friendship as well.
So that's 38.9, I believe you said. Was that your percentage of ROAS, or was that including your base?
So yeah, that's the overall fee you get from them, and then it spreads out to, because I signed a deal with Chris. Chris is my business partner, and there's a 50-50 deal. So whatever we make, half of them is Chris. Chris has his own team, his own agency. So I figure that we can go further with Chris and his team, and I already learned so much from him. I think it's vice versa. He's learning from us as well. So it's a great partnership. And so we split the money. So I actually made $20,000 profit the previous month because I did consulting as well. I finally, it boosted my ego. So I finally started to charge more for my consulting. So I managed to sign consulting deals for like $650 per hour. It actually feels good to consult people, but I realized that $650 is maybe not a good fee. Then I still feel it's low because I can just work on my own business. It's gonna be a lot, more money at the end of the day. So it's interesting. It's just it's literally whole 1 hour. Yeah, it's literally like a monthly salary for my friends living in Hungary. So it's just crazy.
That's awesome. And I just want to talk a little bit more about the structure of your agency, because right now we were talking off camera. You've got 4 or 5 clients where you're charging $1,000 to $2,000 a month, but they're just kind of on the side that you signed prior to kind of going into this new venture.
The Hungarian client, the leftover of the Hungarian clients, 4 or 5 of them, and they're around like 1,000 or 1,500 USD.
So is your plan with them just to keep it running until eventually naturally?
It's hard because I would love to, and it wouldn't even be a lot of work. However, I understood from this experience is that it's still gonna take my focus away from just niching down. So my guessing is that maybe I would say no, maybe I would refer to them for a good friend, and just focus on the fitness niche. Like I see endless opportunities. I know what I need to do. And I know that this is going to be shitloads of work if I really want to go and be the biggest agency for fitness influencers. And that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm 110% sure nobody's going to stop me in that. Nobody's going to beat me in that. I'm just going to be the biggest agency for help fitness influencers to scale their info product. That's what I'm going to do.
So you've got those 4 or 5 that you're either going to let naturally fizzle out, or you might pass them on to one of your people in your network. You've got that one, obviously, big dinosaur of a client, whatever. We'll figure out a name for clients that are probably 25K a month plus. But then you've recently signed 2 new clients, and I believe you said one is for 70% of ROAS and the other is 80%. So you basically, any profit, okay, yes, they have their organic side. So they've got the entirety of their organic side. Obviously, you're just taking 70, 80% of what you're generating via ads. But like, I'm sure someone on the other side of this is listening and going, okay, for example, that client where your billable is 40 grand in your terms of your service fee between set and your percentage. But I mean, fair enough. If you make someone 140K for you to bill them 35 or whatever, I mean, fair enough. You made them 140K. They can't complain. You're still
not carved in stone, right? Like it was, because the initial conversation was like, hey, can you pay us more? And he was like, no. Let's pay just more commission. I'm like, I would prefer more money. He was like, no, more commission. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'm confident. Let's do this. But he was not confident at all. And it was like we took the risk. Like whatever you take the risk and it goes up pretty well, that's what happens. Like, period.
But you see, in that situation, it's fair enough. As I said, you're because you're billing 25%. With these two new clients, you're billing 70 to 80%. So I know that someone on the other side of the screen is going, how the hell did you manage to structure it where you're basically giving them any business you bring them through ads? So yeah, how do you go about signing clients, those clients for a 70 and an 80% ROAS deal?
So first of all, it's not only ads. So what we're gonna do for them is, because they in the phase when they know they want to create a program, however, they have no idea how to build a landing page, how to run the ads, how to do all the backend stuff, like how to build out the emails, how to do some upsell, all those stuff, how to do, how to just track every single number and data, how to analyze the data. So it's really, if you are being really honest, and if you see the whole landscape of what it takes to build out a fitness program and sell it, it's really maybe 10% is to build out the program, and maybe another 5% of like the customer support. And the rest, the 85% is really goes into marketing, like building out all the collaterals, just like recording the testimonial videos, chopping them up. And I can go on for like hours and hours of the to-do list, what you need to do. So and my pitch really goes around, I just listen to them, and then I try to understand what they want to do, what is their vision. And from there, all I'm doing is trying to make them understand by questions that if they understand how complex it is. And once they understand how complex it is, they realize that there is no way they want to do this work on their own. So really, they usually have two options: launch it on their own, and fingers crossed that it's gonna make some money, and then launch another one maybe later when it's just fizzles out. Or they can just partner with us and be sure that whatever they do, there's a 10 times multiplicator on, because they have a proper team. So that's really the pitch. 70-80% is, if you look at this way, is pretty fair. If it would be only ads, that wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't think that would be fair. This way, it's definitely fair. And I don't think I would be able to charge 70-80% for massive influencers. So these two clients, they have some following. They have like 20-30K on Instagram, another 20K on YouTube. So it's good, like already a good following. And the reason I onboarded them and the reason I take this risk with them is that I know both of them. Like, I was watching their YouTube videos before. One of them is actually my personal street workout trainer, because I started to do street workout nowadays. And so I know that they are very passionate about what they do, and they are professionals. I know that the program they're gonna put out is gonna be top notch. So that's why I was like, okay, let's put in the work. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, they'd rather take 30% of 50K a month than take 100% of 2K, 3K a month. And those are the realistic numbers, like, because at the end of the day, without going into detail, one of my old clients, one of my early clients, a company called GenFlow, or Athlete, now rebranded GenFlow. So, I mean, they basically work, as you know, they basically work with the biggest influencers on earth in the fitness space. Like, I actually can't think of, in the top 20, 30, the biggest influencers, they have something to do with it. They're doing something on the back end. So I know a lot of how much these people make from their programs and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised, obviously the top guys are making, as you said, the top guys are, they're doing well, but it's hyper competitive. The guys are like 20, 30K in terms of their following. They're really, they really are feeding off scraps. And that's with having a really, really strong foundation, amazing, like I can't speak more highly of that company, of an incredible organization behind them. You're even going to people who have no foundation at all. like they're the ones who are trying to set up a Shopify store and sell an ebook through a Shopify store. And you're coming in and you're just as you said, you're building a real business for them. And at the end of the day, it's you may be taking a smaller percentage, you may be giving away a large percentage of your business, but that business is worth a hell of a lot more. So that makes total sense. Now, another question that I love to dig into is, obviously, you got into six-figure SMA, then you eventually ended up purchasing Agency Incubator.
I forget that one out of the story. Yeah, I forget that one out. Can I just talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
So So I'm like, there was this, like, I met two guys from, two Hungarian guys in your program, Gergely and Marcel. And we started to be good friends because I was like, I think a lot of people feel this way. I was kind of lonely. I had lots of friends, but I was kind of lonely in the sense that with what I do, I couldn't really talk about this with friends. It was like a lonely thing. Then I met Vince. You probably know Vince, the young guy from Hungary as well. And I met two other Hungarian guys. And so once the agency Incubator came out, they was like, yeah, like, let's buy this. I'm like, yeah, let's download it again. And and they were like, dude, you're already making money. I'm like, yeah, but so what? I'm Hungarian. If I can, like, that's the market. If I can download it, why would I buy it? You know, this is just cost reduction. That's like Ethereum. Like, I would be dumb to buy it. They just start.
You see, this is why we brought Nikolai in 6 months ago.
I know.
Ever since we brought in Nikolai, there's been none of that.
No, dude, like, but I'm all about honesty. Like, you would realize, like, I'm all about honesty and transparency. I think it's missing from the word of, you know,
no, dude, I love that. No, dude, I love that.
And so I was like, I was just about to download it. I was like, this worked out pretty well so far. So let's just stick to the plan that was working. And so my friends were telling me, like, dude, like, don't you feel bad? You know, like, you should at least pay some money for the guy. I'm like, actually, I feel bad. I'm like, how about if I meet him in person, I'm just gonna give him, you know, and just give him the cash. That would be pretty fun. I was like, no, dude, buy it. Like, this is the time to buy it. I'm like, I was making like 3,000 to 4,000 profits per month, and I was like, well, I can actually buy it if I want to. and then it was like, actually, I want to be in the community as well. Like, it's all about the community. I'm lonely as fuck with what I do, so I'm just let's find more people who's in that. So I really joined for the community, to be frank. But I ended up watching the whole video, like every single video as well, taking notes. Same process. I'm never gonna change something that works for another process. So yeah, that was the story how I bought your program.
So yeah, what I was gonna ask is, dude, the amount of times I remember just seeing getting tagged on your story, and you're videoing all the wallpapers and the slides from the modules, you know, key slides in the modules that I think should be drilled into people's heads, and key principles and pillars that I want people drilled into their head. Like, I have in London, I have a printer, and all around my house I've got book cliff notes. I've got even these printouts around my house that, you know, whenever I'm sitting down with a coffee instead of my phone, I'm looking through my own printouts that I've made for Agency Incubator, and copy paste agency, and I'm looking through them myself to reaffirm these principles. But I was always impressed by you, because I'd see you on your story, you'd have the fucking pinups all over your wall, and my question to you is, like, it seemed like you genuinely followed every single action step that I laid out, and I know that a lot of people, and that's very respectable, because first of all, you're already not as successful as you are now, but still an agency owner making 4,000 a month, probably 5,000 a month rev, 6,000 a month rev. You're already a quote unquote successful agency owner. Yet you put your ego down and you followed every single fucking action step, and you any sort of printouts, you printed it out, you stuck them up. So my question to you is, and that's, as I said, that's very, very commendable, is like, for someone listening to this, how much do you think that contributed to you scaling up and you growing your agency, following the action steps?
It's funny because as you talk, it's currently over here. Like, it's all around the place. Like, notes about how I want to structure my agency, a piece of paper that tells me to focus, and then, you know, all the other stuff. First I was not printing out your because I haven't had a printer, so I was not printing this one out. But my friend, and you know the guy who was playing at your event at the clothing brand, DJ guy, CLO. Yeah. At my birthday, he actually printed them out for me. I was like, dude, put it out. I'm like, so that's why you have amazing friends, right? Like, that's the definition of it. They are taking care of you. They're taking care of you. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think it is doable without them. Like, I think you can build something for a while, but for the long run, it's just impossible to do without them. And as you were already talking about that, and Sam Ovens really emphasizes it as well, is that if you stay the same person, there is no way that you can get different results, period. So if you're gonna watch, 1.5 for you to be there every single day, and then do whatever your agenda is. If you keep following that process, yes, you can get better in what you do as a work, but it's not going to be 10x. It's not going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be a very slow process, and there is going to be an end to that because there is only that many time in a given day. So yeah, to answer your question, I followed every single steps. Some of them, like even like, and everyone, like, it's not like, I think people think that they need to follow every single one of those and just keep doing them forever, and that's the way to go. And it's all about testing. It's like, come on guys, we are marketers. If you just try it out and you see, right? Like, give it 30 days, full commitment, try it out and see what happens. And I think that's something I learned from sports. Same with sports, you train yourself, right? In the gym as well. I was competing as a natural bodybuilder before, did powerlifting, CrossFit, like all the other, like I love sports. I was even a competitive BMX rider. It's all about testing. You try different macros, works or not. Try, 2-day split, 3-day split. You try all those things out and see what happens. And you have to figure out what works for you, because what works for me or for Iman might not work for you. But if you don't even try stuff, what's your plan then? Like, how do you want to figure out what works, right?
I love that. And I got a client check-in call in 4 minutes, but I wish we could run this for another fucking hour or 2 hours, because I'd love to dive deep into how you're getting these clients, how you're structuring your agency, how you're dealing with added complexity, et cetera, et cetera. But I said, dude, this has been an absolute pleasure. I wish we could keep rolling for another fucking 45 minutes.
I mean, we can schedule a part 2 from now. So you gotta take
guys, comment down below if you want to see him back on once he hits his first 100K month, and we'll go ahead and make that happen. Dude, thank you so much for your time.
Me too. Same here. It was an honor. Thank you so much. And guys, for watching it, I think the lesson is follow what Iman teaches, test, learn, and just, stick to the process. Figure out what works for you. Keep chipping away. I think that's the biggest take-home message. Like, those private victories, keep chipping away and testing. If you have this 3, if you keep doing this 3, you can fuck up everything else. You're gonna get there.
Love it.
But that's what I believe in.